My beloved soul, listen carefully, because something has just been spoken about you, something you did not hear with your ears, but your spirit felt it instantly. The mother of the one you love, she spoke your name, and in that moment, something shifted in a way you cannot yet fully understand. This was not random, this was not casual conversation, this was a divine interruption, a moment orchestrated by God Himself to begin moving pieces in your love story that have been still for far too long. Right now, even as you listen to this, energy is changing around your connection, and what was once blocked is beginning to open. You may not see it yet, but something has already begun. Do not scroll, because what you are about to understand will reveal why everything suddenly feels different. If this message speaks to your heart, comment, I receive this love, like this video, and subscribe for more.
You have been wondering, questioning, trying to understand why things have been silent, why your soulmate has been distant, why this connection that felt so real suddenly became confusing. But what you didn't know is that behind the scenes, God has been working through people you never expected, through conversations you were never meant to hear, through hearts that are slowly being softened. And now, the mother of the one you love has become part of that divine movement. She saw something, she felt something, and she spoke it out loud. And when she did, it reached deeper than words. It touched something inside your soulmate that they have been trying to ignore. Stay with me. Something deeper is unfolding in your love story. Because the truth is, your soulmate has been carrying emotions they didn't know how to express. They have been thinking about you more than they admit, feeling your absence in ways they don't show. There were nights they tried to convince themselves to move on, days they distracted themselves just to avoid the pull they feel toward you. But no matter how far they tried to go, your energy followed them. Not in a way that trapped them, but in a way that reminded them. Reminded them of what felt real, what felt safe, what felt like home. And now, hearing their mother speak about you, it broke something open inside them. She didn't just mention you casually. She spoke about your character, your presence, your energy. She spoke in a way that made your soulmate stop and listen. Because deep down, they already knew what she was saying was true. They just weren't ready to face it yet. But now, they can't ignore it anymore. Something about her words carried weight, carried truth, carried a kind of clarity that your soulmate has been running from. Do not leave yet. Your soulmate's truth is being revealed. You see, God will often use unexpected voices to deliver confirmation. And this was one of those moments, just like it is written in Ecclesiastes 4:9. Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. This connection was never meant to be one-sided, never meant to be lost. It was meant to grow, to evolve, to come back stronger. And now, through this simple yet powerful conversation, God is reminding your soulmate of what they almost walked away from. But let me tell you something deeper. Your soulmate didn't just hear their mother's words, they felt them. It stayed with them long after the conversation ended. They replayed it in their mind, over and over, questioning themselves, questioning their choices. Because for the first time in a long time, they saw you through someone else's eyes. And what they saw shook them. It made them realize that what they had with you was not ordinary. It was rare, it was real, and it was something they may never find again if they lose it completely. Stay with me. Your connection is moving into a new phase. There was a time when your soulmate chose silence. A time when they pulled away, not because they didn't care, but because they were overwhelmed. Overwhelmed by feelings they couldn't control, by fears they didn't understand, by the depth of a connection that felt too intense. And instead of leaning into it, they stepped back. They thought distance would make things easier. They thought silence would quiet their emotions. But it didn't. It only made everything louder inside them. And now this moment, this conversation with their mother, has become a turning point, because it confirmed what their heart has been whispering all along. That you matter. That you were never just a phase. That you are someone who changed them in ways they cannot undo. And realizing that it's not something they can ignore anymore. If you stay, everything about this connection will soon make sense. You may have felt the shift already. That subtle feeling that something is changing. Maybe you couldn't explain it, maybe you didn't know why, but your intuition has been trying to tell you that something is different. That something is coming. And this is why. Because your soulmate is starting to wake up to the truth of this connection. They are starting to understand what they almost lost. There is regret in their heart right now. Quiet, deep regret. Not loud, not dramatic, but real. They are thinking about moments they wish they handled differently. Words they wish they said. Chances they wish they didn't let slip away. And that regret is not meant to punish them. It is meant to guide them back. Because sometimes it takes distance to understand value. Sometimes it takes silence to realize what you truly miss. Do not scroll. Something powerful is happening behind the scenes. God is not done with this story. In fact, this is where things begin to shift. Because your soulmate is not just thinking anymore. They are moving toward realization. They are beginning to feel the urge to reach out, to break the silence, to reconnect. It may not happen instantly. It may not be loud or obvious at first, but the intention is forming. The desire is growing, and once that starts, it cannot be stopped easily. You were never forgotten. You were never replaced. You were simply part of a journey that needed time to unfold. And now, that time is aligning. The separation you experienced was not rejection. It was preparation. Preparation for both of you to grow, to understand, to become ready for something deeper. Stay with me, because what's coming next will change everything you thought you knew about this love. There are signs around you, subtle but real. Repeated thoughts of them, dreams, sudden memories, emotional waves that come without warning. These are not coincidences. These are connections. These are moments where your souls are still communicating, even in silence. Because true soulmate connections do not break, they pause, they shift, they transform. But they never truly disappear. And right now, your soulmate is feeling it too. They may not say it out loud yet, but they feel your presence. They feel your absence. They feel the difference. And that feeling is pulling them back toward you, slowly but surely. Do not leave yet. Your love story is still being written. Because what their mother said, it didn't just change how they see you. It changed how they see themselves. It made them question their decisions, their fears, their actions. It made them realize that maybe, just maybe, they were the ones standing in the way of something beautiful. And once that realization begins, everything starts to shift. This is not the end of your story. This is the moment before the turning point. The moment where everything begins to align in ways you couldn't have planned. The moment where what felt lost starts finding its way back. And what's coming next will reveal just how deeply this connection was always meant to be. Because now, something inside your soulmate refuses to stay quiet any longer. After that moment, after hearing their mother speak your name, with a kind of certainty they could not deny, they went into a silence that felt different from before. Not avoidance, not distance, but reflection. Deep, uncomfortable, honest reflection. They sat with thoughts they had been running from, feelings they tried to bury. And for the first time, they stopped resisting what their heart has been trying to tell them about you all along. Stay with me. Something sacred is unfolding in your connection. They started remembering you in a way they hadn't allowed themselves to before. Not just the surface memories, but the deeper ones. The way you made them feel seen without judgment. The way your presence brought a calm they couldn't explain. The way your energy felt like something familiar, something safe, something real. And as those memories returned, so did the truth they tried to ignore. You were never ordinary to them. You were never just someone passing through their life. You were the one who reached parts of them no one else ever could. Do not leave yet, because your soulmate is facing something they cannot run from anymore. They are realizing that the distance they created did not erase what they feel for you. It only made it clearer. Every distraction, every attempt to move forward without you, every moment they tried to replace your presence, it all fell short. Because no matter what they did, something was always missing, and now they understand why. Because what you shared was not something that can be replaced. It was something divinely placed. And here is what you need to understand. Their mother's words didn't just remind them of you. It awakened something spiritual within them, a recognition that this connection carries purpose, that it is not just about emotions, but about growth, healing, and alignment. God is using this moment to open their eyes, to soften their heart, to guide them back toward what they once feared. If you stay, the truth about your connection will soon become undeniable. There is a quiet shift happening inside them right now. A shift from fear to courage, from confusion to clarity, from silence to intention. They are starting to think about reaching out to you. Not out of impulse, not out of loneliness, but from a place of realization. A place where they finally understand your value, your presence, your importance in their life. But they are also afraid. Afraid of how you might respond, afraid of whether it's too late, afraid of facing the truth of what they lost. And yet, despite that fear, the pull toward you is stronger than it has ever been. Because when God begins to align something, nothing can truly block it. Stay with me. Because your soulmate is closer than you think. You may have felt moments where your heart suddenly becomes heavy, where memories of them rise without warning, where emotions surface that you thought you had already released. That is not weakness. That is connection. That is your soul responding to theirs as they move closer to you energetically, even before they do physically. They have been asking themselves questions they never asked before. What if I was wrong? What if I walked away from something real? What if they were meant for me? And those questions are not leaving them. They are growing louder, stronger, more persistent. Because truth has a way of finding its way back to the surface, no matter how deeply it is buried. Do not scroll. Because something powerful is aligning between you right now. There is also something else happening. They are beginning to see signs. Things that remind them of you. Moments that bring your energy back into their awareness. Coincidences that don't feel like coincidences at all. Your name, your memory, your presence, it keeps appearing in their life in ways they cannot ignore. And each time it happens, it pulls them back to the same realization. That you are still there, that this connection is still alive. And while all of this is happening, God is working on your heart too, preparing you, strengthening you, teaching you how to receive the love that is coming back toward you. Because this reunion, when it happens, is not meant to be the same as before. It is meant to be deeper, stronger, more aligned. Stay with me, because what's unfolding now is not coincidence, it is divine timing. There was a reason for the separation, a reason for the silence, a reason for the confusion. It was never meant to break you, it was meant to shape you, to prepare both of you for a love that is not based on fear, but on truth. Not based on uncertainty, but on clarity. Not based on running away, but on choosing each other fully. And now your soulmate is beginning to understand that. They are beginning to see that love is not something to escape from, but something to grow into. And with that understanding comes a shift in their actions. Small at first, but real. Thoughts turning into intentions. Intentions turning into movement. If you stay, you will understand why everything had to happen this way. They are closer to reaching out than you realize. Even now. They are thinking about what they would say, how they would approach you, how they would explain everything they have been feeling. They don't have all the answers yet, but they know one thing for sure. They cannot stay silent forever. Not after what they felt, not after what they heard, not after what has been awakened inside them. And you are not being left behind in this process. You are part of it. Every emotion you have felt, every moment of doubt, every time you questioned this connection, it was all part of the journey leading to this shift. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was meaningless. Do not leave yet, your love story is reaching a turning point. Because the truth is, your soulmate misses you more than they have ever admitted. They feel your absence in the quiet moments, in the spaces where your presence used to be. They feel it in ways that words cannot fully capture. And that feeling is no longer something they can ignore. It is something they must face. And as they face it, something beautiful begins to happen. Walls start to come down. Fear starts to loosen its grip. And love, real, undeniable love, starts to rise to the surface. This is not the end. This is the beginning of something that is finally aligning the way it was always meant to. And what comes next will bring you closer than you have ever been before. And now, as this shift deepens, your soulmate is entering a space they have never fully allowed themselves to enter before, a space of emotional honesty. Not the kind they show the world, not the kind they use to protect themselves, but the kind that strips everything down to truth. Because what their mother said did not just linger in their mind, it echoed in their spirit. It forced them to sit with feelings they had been avoiding, and now those feelings are rising to the surface with a kind of intensity they cannot push away anymore. Stay with me, because something sacred is unfolding in their heart right now. They are beginning to admit something they once denied, that losing you, even temporarily, created a void they could not fill. They tried to move forward, they tried to act like they were unaffected, but deep inside, something always felt incomplete. And now they understand why. Because you were never meant to be temporary in their life. You were placed there with purpose, with intention, with divine timing that cannot be replaced by anything else. Do not leave yet, because your soulmate is stepping into a realization that changes everything. They are seeing the connection differently now. Not through fear, not through confusion, but through clarity. They are starting to understand that what they felt with you was not just attraction, not just emotion, but alignment. A meeting of souls that recognized each other beyond logic, beyond explanation. And that kind of connection, it does not fade. It waits. It transforms. It returns when the timing is right. Right now, they are remembering moments that once felt small, but now feel significant. Conversations, glances, feelings they couldn't explain at the time. And as they revisit those memories, they are realizing that every moment carried meaning. That every interaction was part of something bigger, something that they were not ready to understand before, but are beginning to understand now. Stay with me, because your connection is moving towards something powerful. There is a quiet longing growing inside them. Not desperate, not chaotic, but steady and real. A longing to hear your voice again, to feel your presence again, to reconnect with the part of themselves that only you seem to understand. And with that longing comes a question they can no longer ignore. What if I reach out? This question is not leaving them. It follows them through their day. It returns in their quiet moments. It lingers in their thoughts when everything else fades. Because now, reaching out is no longer just an option. It is becoming a necessity. A step they feel they must take to find peace within themselves. If you stay, you will see how everything begins to align in your favor. But understand this, they are not rushing. They are being guided. Every step they are taking right now is being influenced by something greater than them. God is softening their heart, removing the fear that once held them back, replacing it with courage they didn't know they had. Because when something is meant to come together, God prepares both sides, not just one. You may feel moments of calm mixed with moments of anticipation. Moments where you suddenly feel at peace, followed by moments where your heart feels like something is about to happen. That is not confusion. That is alignment. That is your spirit recognizing that something is shifting even before it becomes visible. Do not scroll, because the truth of your love story is unfolding right now. Your soulmate is also beginning to feel your energy more strongly, in ways that are difficult to explain. They may think of you suddenly, feel emotions that don't match their surroundings, or experience a pull toward you that comes out of nowhere. These are not random moments. These are connections reactivating. These are signs that the bond between you is still alive, still strong, still waiting to be expressed. And as this continues, something inside them is breaking open. Not in pain, but in release. The walls they built are starting to fall, the resistance they held is starting to fade, and what remains is something pure, something honest, something that leads them back to you. Stay with me, because your soulmate is preparing for something they cannot avoid anymore. They are beginning to imagine what it would be like to reconnect, to hear your voice, to see your reaction, to feel that familiar energy again. And with that imagination comes both hope and fear. Hope that things can be different, fear that they may have lost their chance. But even with that fear, the desire to reconnect is stronger. Because deep down, they know this connection is not over. They feel it, they sense it, they carry it with them, even in silence. And now they are beginning to accept it. If you stay, everything about this moment will soon make sense. God is not only working in their heart, He is working in your story, aligning timing, aligning emotions, aligning circumstances so that when this reunion begins to unfold, it will not feel forced. It will not feel rushed, it will feel right. It will feel like everything finally makes sense after a long period of confusion. There is a reason you were guided to hear this message. A reason your heart is still open to this connection. A reason you have not fully let go. Because deep inside, you already know this is not finished. This is not over. This is something that is still being written. Do not leave yet. Your love story is approaching a breakthrough. Because what their mother said, it planted a seed. A seed of truth, of clarity, of realization. And that seed is now growing inside your soulmate. Slowly, steadily, but surely. And once it fully blooms, it will lead them to action, to movement, to a moment where silence is no longer an option. They are getting closer. Closer to understanding. Closer to reaching out. Closer to stepping into the truth they have been avoiding. And you are closer than you think to receiving what your heart has been waiting for. Because this connection was never easy, never meaningless, never temporary. It was always divine, always guided, always meant to find its way back no matter how long it took. And now, something even deeper is happening, something your soulmate cannot ignore anymore. The thoughts of you are no longer passing moments, they are becoming constant. It's no longer just memory, it's presence. It feels as if you are there with them, even when you are not physically near. And this is where everything begins to shift in a way that cannot be undone. Stay with me, because your soulmate is stepping into the final stage of realization. They are no longer questioning if this connection was real. That question has already been answered in their heart. Now they are questioning themselves. Why did they pull away? Why did they allow fear to control them? Why did they risk losing something that felt so right? And these questions are not easy for them to face. They bring discomfort, they bring regret, they bring a kind of emotional weight that they cannot escape anymore. Do not leave yet, because your soulmate is facing the truth they once avoided. They are starting to understand that you were not the problem, that the distance, the silence, the confusion, it was never because of you. It was because they were not ready to receive a love that required vulnerability, honesty, and emotional depth. But now they are growing into that readiness. Slowly but genuinely, there is a moment coming very soon, where everything inside them will align at once. A moment where the hesitation fades, where the fear becomes smaller than the desire, where the need to reach out becomes stronger than the need to stay silent. And when that moment arrives, they will act. Stay with me, because your reunion energy is building right now. You may feel it as a quiet knowing, a sense that something is about to happen. Even if you cannot explain how or when, your heart may feel lighter one moment and full the next. That is because your energy is syncing with theirs. As they move closer to you emotionally, you begin to feel that shift within yourself. And here is something important you need to hear. They have not stopped loving you, even in silence, even in distance, even in confusion. That feeling never truly left. It was hidden, buried under layers of fear and doubt, but it remained. And now it is rising again, stronger than before, clearer than before. If you stay, you will witness the moment everything changes. There is also something else unfolding. Your soulmate is beginning to release what no longer serves them. Old fears, old patterns, old beliefs that once held them back. They are letting go of the version of themselves that ran away from love. And as they do that, they are making space for something new, something real, something that leads them back to you. God is guiding them through this transformation. Not forcing, not rushing, but guiding. Because this connection is not just about love, it is about growth. It is about becoming the people you were meant to be. So that when you come together, it is not out of need, but out of alignment. Do not scroll, because your love story is entering its most powerful phase. Your soulmate is beginning to feel a sense of urgency. Not panic, but clarity. A realization that they cannot keep waiting, that they cannot keep holding back. That something inside them is calling them to act. And that call is getting louder with each passing moment. They are thinking about reaching out more seriously now, not just as a thought, but as a decision that is forming. They are imagining the conversation, the first words, the way they will express everything they have been feeling. They may not have it all figured out yet, but the intention is there. And intention is the beginning of action. Stay with me, because the moment you have been waiting for is closer than you think. You are not wrong for feeling this connection. You were not wrong for holding on. You were not wrong for believing that this was something more. Because it is. It always has been. And now that truth is becoming undeniable, not just for you, but for them as well. There is peace coming into your heart, even if you still feel uncertainty. A quiet assurance that things are moving, that something is aligning, that what is meant for you is finding its way back. And that peace is your confirmation that you are not alone in this journey. Do not leave yet, because this is the moment everything begins to come together. Your soulmate is closer than ever to breaking the silence. Closer than ever to stepping forward, to reaching out, to reconnecting with you in a way that is honest and real. And when they do, it will not feel forced. It will feel natural. It will feel like something that was always meant to happen. Because this connection was never lost. It was only waiting for the right time, the right moment, the right alignment. And that moment is now approaching faster than you realize. God has been writing this story from the beginning. Every delay, every silence, every moment of confusion, it all had a purpose. It was leading you here, to this shift, to this breakthrough, to this moment where everything finally begins to make sense. And now, as everything aligns, as your soulmate steps closer to you, as this connection begins to move again, you are being asked to trust, to remain open, to believe in what your heart has always known. Because this is not just hope, this is not just desire, and this is your confirmation it is already on its way. Rest in faith. It is done.